Welcome to Impact Investing TV show.
We show you solutions to global environmental and social challenges to inspire you for actions towards the SDGs.
You will also learn the best way to invest your money and create impact while making profit.
Let's discover impact investing world and true sustainability right now. Hi, and welcome to Swiss Impact with Banerjee, Season 6, Episode 5.
Yes, welcome. We continue exploring the topic of this season, impact investments in times of crisis. And one of the greatest existential threats life on Earth today is actually climate change.
And for those who are not aware that we are also the part of the ecosystem, when we speak of life on Earth, we do mean humans too.
Thank you, Ben, for this explanation. I think it's very clear now. And one of the best and fastest way to overcome climate change is surprisingly also via education, and especially in emerging world. Today, our guests will exactly talk and tell us how they are fighting, I don't like the word fighting, contributing towards zero emissions.
And to start with, thank you to all our audience for all your support and your reactions, your requests, emails, comments. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, and before Ben, maybe you can share a short story.
So we always seem to have a discussion or always a comment about how much damage humans are doing to the planet.
Yes, of course. You have any doubts about it?
No, I do not. Only I think we should become more transparent and more direct about it. It's not humanity causing the damage. It is just certain humans.
You mean that we should start naming that it is not all humans, but for example, the fossil fuel companies, mining industry, meat industry, weapon industry, etc., or even by names?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, by names of certain humans.
Exactly. So it is the human, it's certain people who are causing this damage. But on the other hand, you also have amazing people doing incredible work who are not only heroes in our eyes, but are making positive, measurable, and truly effective positive impact. So I believe that we should also start naming them and presenting them to the world too and empower them.
Well, completely agree, and I think we're already doing it. Our guest of today is exactly such a person. With this, we'd like to welcome Samuel Okori, who is going to take us on a journey through Africa, and we will see it from the eyes of the youth. What are they doing for climate change? Sami, are you here with us?
Welcome, Sam.
Hi, Samuel. Great to see you. Are you in Africa right now?
Yes, I'm in Africa, precisely Nigeria. Great to see you too.
Great to have you with us. So welcome. And before we start, I'd like to quickly introduce you to our audience who doesn't know you yet or haven't seen you in any of the conferences where you were speaking. So Samuel, you are a youth mentor and ambassador for Africa from Protect Our Planet movement. You're also founder of the Youth for Today initiative, and you lead the POP, the Protect Our Planet, Nigeria initiative on climate education. You speak on many global forums. I just will name a few of them, like World Sustainable Development Forum in Mexico, Fox Media, international conferences, and POP Festival for Youth-led Climate Action, COP26, UN Climate Change Dialogue, UNFCCC Warsaw Executive Meeting on Loss and Damage, and many more. And you are also in many national newspapers. Currently, you are, as I said, youth mentor and ambassador for Africa at the POP movement, British Council Young Climate Journalist, Climate and Sustainability Advisory Board member for Educate Global, and European Climate Pact Ambassador for the European Commission. You're also climate reality leader, fellow of Cambridge Existential Risk, Federation of International Gender and Human Rights. Wow. So I can't go through the call list. I'm sorry. But this is what I can call unconditional engagement with flesh, bones, and heart. So welcome.
Thank you, Belash. Thank you. I'm really honored and I'm wowed. Thank you.
Thank you. Samuel, tell us your story. Why are you so engaged with climate change?
Okay, so my stories spark from the need to actually take action for my environment and my planet. I come from a family of 7, and then before now, we lived in a flooded house for over 3 years. And in this situation, whenever it rains, it really gets flooded. Our home gets really flooded. So what we do is we use bricks and then raise it above the waist level. And once we use brick to support above the waist level, then we can support it with either foam or mats, so we can be able to sleep for the night. And this persisted for 3 years. And it's not just about sleeping. To a point, I remember there was a point, everybody in my house, we are all hospitalized. And I can remember vividly, there was a situation where when I couldn't speak nor hear for 3 days. And after this whole incident, my family lost their jobs. We lost a lot of properties. And to a point, I stopped school because of the flooding. And then this didn't stop here at the moment, at the point, okay. So there was also a point, because of these situations, I began to have series of nightmares. At a point, I became so traumatized, and I developed a lot of suicidal thoughts. So I even attempted suicide to a point because I felt life was not fair anymore. And I felt there was no need to live when you can just see yourself suffering and there was no solution. And then I didn't even know anything about climate change and all. So growing up in this particular background made me to say, I can't be able to see families, see communities go through this situation when I know there are ways I can be able to help in the areas of advocating, educating, and also engaging with people to provide solution to this particular problem. And that was what gave birth to my engagement in the climate space. Thank you.
Wow.
That's really, I mean, what else? Usually, a lot of entrepreneurs are motivated by their own stories, right? And this is how it starts from really deep within that you want to change something. And so, what is your driver then behind all this? Like, how did you overcome your fears, nightmares, and everything? How did it pivot to other side?
Okay, so I wouldn't say it has been an easy journey for me, because from my days of nightmares and traumas and even suicidal attempts, it all stopped when I got to high school. That was during my senior secondary class in SS1, SS2, precisely XS3, when I encountered Jesus. That is my own tradition right now. So I'm just apologizing for anybody that doesn't believe in Christianity. So when I encountered Jesus and he transformed my life, and moving forward, I discovered my passion. I discovered that I can actually talk to people. I discovered that I can actually influence people's decision. I also discovered that I can engage with policymakers to influence their decisions. And then the whole process started while I was still an undergraduate in the university. So I engaged with someone called Adam, who told me that I can carry out awareness campaign, talk to people about green and clean environment. This was over 10 years after we packed out from our previous home that was flooded, that we experienced constant flooding. And then when he told me about this whole stuff, he was also trying to moderate a section at COP 24, I think. At COP 24, he was trying to moderate a section, and I engaged in this particular exercise. Even though then I didn't have money to get most of the resources, but I had to tell my people at home, so they helped me in getting the materials. And this was the break point of the whole thing. So a week prior to this particular event to take place, for me to begin the whole awareness campaign and all, I told people in my estate, please, I would need you to come out and join me in this particular exercise. And the youth, like they said, wow, we will support you big time. We will give you the whole support you need. We will give you the whole materials, everything. And just on that particular day, for us to begin this exercise, I didn't see a soul. Nobody came out. And I was almost discouraged. I was like, should I just not go back home and sleep and just relax? But I had this zeal, like, no, you've already started this. You have to finish it up. So I had to start going into the streets, meet people. And that was during the December period, that is the festive period. And I also faced a lot of challenges because people are like, hope you're not going to take our picture for rituals. Hope you're not going to take our picture to do this. Hope you're not a beggar. Hope you're not this, But still, I had to persist. I had to talk to them, educate them about clean and green environment, educate them about the need to keep the environment clean, give them instances where plastic pollution could give rise to unprecedented flooding and could also give rise to air pollution, waterborne disease and the likes, and also had to take pictures with them as an evidence that we have actually engaged in this particular exercise. So that was the first place that this whole process started. That was in 2017. And then in 2018, I engaged with stakeholders and the likes. But I think I'll just stop here and or to see how the question unfolds. Thank you.
It's an amazing story you have. So we also face it. Sometimes people, they all say, yes, 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 it is so amazing. And when it really comes down to action, suddenly you don't find them anywhere. And what can you tell us some specific actions you have taken to advocate for climate justice or sustainable livelihood and green economy?
Okay, so some of the steps I've taken is includes a project we recently carried out that was last year on agroecology using regenerative agriculture. In Nigeria, I was one of the young climate journalists for the British Council in 2021. And then part of the things that I experienced as a result of carrying out investigative journalism for the British Council was that Nigeria is experiencing adverse low food outcome, which I can say food insecurity that was happening in the country at large, and there was actually need to provide solutions to this particular problem. And the people that are most affected by this particular issue are the low-income farmers who we can refer to as peasant farmers, and also people that come from low-income homes who don't have enough money to sustain their livelihood and even their family at large. So we devised a means of training people in communities, especially target audience, especially women and young youths, to train them on agroecology, and also to shape their perspective on food in the area of, because we know that people focus more on grain in Nigeria. So we try to shape their area to switch to other food chain, which we looked at more of plant-based foods like fruits, especially cucumber, watermelon, vegetables. Okay, and then we trained them on this process. After training them, we've also turned a wasteland into an agroecology fruit farmland, where we carried out the practical of the training. Because I am one person that doesn't believe that training only works when you tell me to do things. I believe training is more effective when you bring out practical tools that people can be able to recognize and they can be able to replicate in order to get that desired result you've told them about. So we did a practical exercise, and moving on, we didn't just stop here. We empowered all the participants with these seedlings. We empowered them with these seedlings in the areas of cucumber, watermelon. We also empowered them with their indigenous vegetable crops, which they call ewedu in Yoruba land and efo. So ewedu and efo are two major vegetables in Yoruba land that is used to prepare Yoruba delicacies. And when you come to Nigeria and when you come to any Yoruba land in the Yoruba culture, they will offer you what we call ewedu and amala. Ewedu and amala are Yoruba favorites. And ewedu is derived from the leaf ewedu. And the vegetable ewedu is used to prepare ewedu soup. So you can see how important this vegetable is to the people of this particular region. So after the whole process, they went home, they planted it in their various homes, and also monitored the ones we planted on the wasteland we turned to agroecology farmland. And at the end of the day, they saw how productive it was and how they were able to replicate it in their homes. And they came to me to say, you know what, sir? We never thought this can be grown in my own home. I never thought I can grow cucumber in my home. I never thought I can grow watermelon in my home. I never thought I can grow ewedu and vegetable in my home. How magical that was. How did you do it?
That's
So
great, Samuel.
we have to demystify a lot of things when it comes to planting. So that is the area of addressing food security and the area of talking about the green, the sustainability aspect when you talk about the green economy and all. And we also have to interview people in government sector, in policy making, in the area of the person that passed the Climate Change Act to track the country's commitments to net zero and also to look at low carbon options for business and industries. Because we believe net zero can thrive when there are low carbon options for business and industries, where businesses don't have to stop totally what they are doing, but they can look at other options to emit less carbon and also thrive sustainably. And this was where our interview was focused. And I also wrote an article called Low Carbon Option for Business and Industry, also looking at the area of how AI too can come in the aspect of promoting sustainability. And then thank you.
Samuel, that's amazing what you're sharing. Do I understand it right? So this you do education in the name of the Pop Nigeria initiative. Is it correct? Just for
Yes.
Yeah?
Exactly.
Okay. And how many Nigerian children are out of school according to UNICEF? Do you know this number?
According to UNICEF Nigeria, the first report they published in 2013 states that over 13 million students are out of school. That was 2013. And 13 million students, 13 million children rather, are out of school. Now, by out of school means they don't have access to education. So they are not in school at all. And this 13 million makes up over 1/3 of the Nigerian total population. And in 2022, it shows that over 10 million students are out of school. 10 million children, rather, are out of school. Now, when you compare the indices of 2013 and 2022, it shows that there has been a lot of funding into the educational sector of Nigeria. Between 2021 and 2022, I will just give a brief analysis. In 2021, the country only spent about 5.7% of its national budget, 5.7% of its national budget on education. But in 2022, the country went further to invest in 7.3% of its national budget in education. So we can also see how that investment have reduced the number of people that are out of school. But apart from these two, in the northern region of Nigeria, you see situations where over 600 schools has been closed. So imagine where 600 schools has been closed.
Why were they closed?
Region. Now, in the northern region of Nigeria is experiencing a lot of insecurity issues like terrorism attack, adoptions, and the likes. And people are not secure anymore sending their children to school. But most importantly, the people that suffer this more are the females, because the females are more disfranchised when it comes to education. Reasons being that most of them feel they are going to be vulnerable to schools. Their parents are not safe sending them to school. They feel the system is not safe enough, and also their kids are likely to be abused, and they might be used for child trafficking and the likes. So that is why females are more vulnerable when it comes to this issue. But looking at Nigeria at the moment, Nigeria is not even meeting up to the international benchmark for education, which talks about countries need to invest about 15 to 20% of their national budget on education, whereas Nigeria is investing only 7.2%. So you also see the need that we are not investing so much on education, and there is a prompt need for our government to look into the educational system, providing sustainable environmental platform for both genders to engage in the educational sector. And when you look at the whole indices of education, you also look at people that are out of school. You also look at people that are on the streets, street children. You also look at as well people that are from low-income homes. I will give a brief analogy, very brief, I promise. I carried out a research in 2019 in a remote community in south region of Nigeria. And I discovered that in this community, they practice a system of marriage called money marriage. In money marriage, they believe their daughters can be sold into marriage for socio-economic benefits for the family. So they give out their daughter into marriage, and once their daughter is given out, in exchange for the marriage, the groom rather, gives the family some food materials, some money to offset the family's debt and the likes. By so doing, you see that the girl child is already disenfranchised from gaining access to education. So the right of the girl child has been hampered. So there is need for equality in the educational system. And this is also some of the indices that give birth to the POP Nigeria Initiative on Climate Education, where we educate people about climate change and also connect with them to see the indices between how climate change connects to their present wave challenge and how they can be able to engage adequately in addressing these particular issues.
Samuel, how many kids have you educated already, or adults as well, if you do, youth, with your initiative?
I mean, directly and indirectly.
Okay. So our target audience, directly and indirectly, is over 200,000 at the moment. And that is within the space of 2021 and 2022. So within this short period, I will be able to reach out to 30 states out of 36 states in Nigeria. And in these 30 states, we only target remote villages and communities. However, we've also done things in rural areas, especially in the cities of Abuja, Lagos, and Ibadan, which is in Oyo State. We've done things in urban centers, which has to do more with educating people about waste and also on how to reduce their low carbon footprints. But in rural communities, we engage with schools. We also partner with tertiary institutions like vice chancellors of tertiary institutions. We've partnered with them about 5 tertiary institutions. We've also partnered with over 200 schools and still counting. But if you look at our glance reports for 2022, you will see the number of communities we've engaged and the number of states we've engaged. And also, we connect students as well with their members of parliament to ask direct questions on demanding for climate justice, because we believe their members of parliament have ways of addressing these issues directly by hearing directly from the students. Yeah.
And how does POP Nigeria Initiative plan to activate youth as climate actors, leaders, and advocates?
Okay. So POP Nigeria Initiative is one of the fast-growing initiatives, I would say, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa at large, because the project itself has been replicated in over 5 different African countries. That is using the POP Nigeria Initiative on Climate Education model that has been replicated. And how we intend to do this is by training people first on leadership. So we believe youth can be more responsible when they are able to identify the challenges surrounding their environment. After training and having conversations with them, I will have a personal engagement with them to help them identify a particular challenge in their environment, which we can be able to solve together, because I believe we may not be able to surmount the bigger challenge, but starting with the smaller challenge, moving gradually, we can be able to summon even the biggest challenge that will come our way in nearest future. So what we do is through mentorship, through coaching, through capacity building, and also through engagement with youth and mobilizing youth to take action for the environment. That is how we are able to engage youth. And part of also what we do is to work with, like I said, tertiary institutions, and as well create these clubs in secondary schools to make sure that our actions are more sustainable and they even outlive we who brought it into the school. Thank you.
Samuel, and is this education free for the beneficiaries, or do they need to pay anything? How is that going?
Okay, it's entirely free. Actually free. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to tell us, you don't have to give us any money. You don't have to pay anything, unless out of your own will to say, okay, we want to intervene. However, it may become cumbersome when we don't have the resources to meet up to the needs of the beneficiaries or the participants. But before we carry out any project or any location, we always map up our target audience within that particular area. And if there is any need for us to extend our target audience, then we have to have a meeting with the stakeholders and see how we can be able to upskill the project to other regions.
And what has been your most rewarding moment that you experienced at this initiative? What was the most like, wow?
Okay, so I would say all the moments have been so rewarding. Like, I can't lay hand on this one. I can't lay hand on this one. Well, actually, the most rewarding moment of this initiative was when we first started. Yes. When we first started. Because I remember when we first started, people told me, you can't make it. People told me, the Nigerian government will not listen to you. People told me, we've written letter to the Nigerian government to endorse our project. They can't endorse it. And who are you to come from out of the blues and meet the Nigerian government and they're going to endorse the project? Like, who do you think you are? You're just a Nigerian like every other person, you know? And that was a challenge for me. That was what made me to say, I should do this. And the rewarding moment came when we got endorsements from the Nigerian government. Then people started coming, sir, how do we participate? How can we be part of this initiative? So I feel that was the rewarding moment, because what people think was impossible became possible. And this initiative has escalated. It has engaged with people, countries, ministers. We've gotten partnerships with international organizations, with global organizations that I can't even mention here, but we've gotten a lot of spotlight. Even beyond that, we still need more spotlight. We still need more partnership. We still need more funds to escalate the project, to tell the world what we are doing. But the rewarding moment
What do you need, Samuel? What do you need? Are you looking for partners, investors? What are you looking for?
Yeah. Right now, we are looking for partners. We are looking for investors, because we believe, for instance, the agroecology I talked about. We believe if we have more partners on ground, we can be able to empower women and children and also upgrade their source of livelihood. We believe it. We believe that Nigeria right now is going through crisis that is affecting a lot of homes. And remember, Nigeria is the highest country in the world that have out of school children globally.
Wow.
And we believe we can be able to tackle this issue. If you go through our reports on social media, you will see where we even have to educate students under 3. You will see how some even have to sit on the ground to hear what we say. Schools are dilapidated, they lack resources, they lack manpower, they lack sufficient and efficient teachers. We believe we can turn things around. And we believe the only way to do this is when we have more resources, funding, some partners, collaborators that can come together to upscale what we are doing and reach out to a larger audience. Thank you.
And Samuel, where can your potential partners find you? Do you have a website, or how can they approach you?
Okay, so we have a website, and then it's called, I will say, www.epopmovement.org/pop as POP Nigeria Initiative.
Okay.
I'll take that again.
Complicated one.
www.epopmovement.org/pop Nigeria Initiative. You can get us there, or you can just type thepopmovement.org. Then at the top of the pop movement, you see a green, white, green flag. That is the Nigerian flag. You click it.
Okay.
And
that's easier.
And I'm also on social media like LinkedIn. My LinkedIn name is Samuel C. Okore. So the Okore is Okorie. That is the Okore. And on Twitter is Samuel C. Okore. Together. Samuel, Semuel C. Okore, Okore. Together.
Perfect. I'm sure now everyone can find you.
So Samuel, we are running, unfortunately, we are running out of time. Do you have a call to action for our global audience?
Yes. Yes, the call to action for our global audience is the time to act is now. And unless we come together to act and take action to protect our environment and our planet, then we are at the risk of losing our planet. And I call on everyone out there to join us in making sure that our planet is safe. We are looking for partners, we are looking for funders, we are looking for collaborators. We can work together to make this work. And remember, even if you don't work with us too, the little action you take to protect our planet matters. Because, like they say, little drop of water makes an ocean. Thank you.
That's amazing, Samuel. Thank you so much for sharing that message. And I can only join you in your message that every human is a citizen of the planet and they can make impact in their countries, and not thinking I'm just a human. I am a human, so I can make impact, right? Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Samuel.
Thank you so much for the time. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And all the best, all good luck and energy for your initiatives. Thank you. Thank you so much. Dear viewers, with this, we've finished the 5th episode of Season 6. Next week, we will be back with another amazing guest, and this time from Ben's favorite country.
Favorite? It is my country.
I knew it will come.
So we invite all impactful businesses who are seeking investment, branding, or any other support from our TV show. We invite you to come to our TV show. Please contact us at apply@iisolutions.ch.
We see you next week. Bye for now. Hey, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Impact Investing TV show. Make sure you subscribe to our channel not to miss any future episodes.
Leave us some feedback and get in touch with us if you want to be our next TV show guest.
And find us on TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Spotify, podcasts, and any of your favorite social media places.
And join the awesome Impact community. We look forward to sharing the next episode with you. And remember, it's not hard to act.
Just give your heart to impact.